Some true crime stories don't just sound dark. They feel like straight-up horror movies brought to life. Tonight, we're doing a quick countdown of 5 real cases that play out like nightmare scripts. From a king who turned an entire country into his personal horror playground, to a suburban serial killer hiding in plain sight, to a delivery driver who changed how an entire state responds to missing children. These are 5 real cases that feel more like horror movies than reality. Imagine a father staring at what's left of his child, knowing her only crime was that their village didn't meet a rubber quota set by a king who had never even seen them. That was everyday life in the Congo under King Leopold II. In the late 1800s, he turned an entire region into his private forced labor operation, where whippings, hostage-taking, and mutilation weren't accidents. They were policy. Soldiers were ordered to prove they hadn't wasted bullets by bringing back severed hands, sometimes from the dead, and sometimes from the living. Modern estimates suggest that around 10 million people died in just a few decades. If this were a fictional empire in a horror movie, most people would say it was too extreme to be believable, but it wasn't fiction. It was a business model. 21-year-old Elisa checked into the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles and then vanished. Days later, police released elevator footage showing her final known moments. She presses multiple buttons, steps in and out, hides in the corner, and gestures at something, or someone. We can't see. The elevator doors stay open far longer than they should, like something out of a possession movie. And then she's gone. Nearly 3 weeks later, after guests complained about dark, foul-tasting water, a maintenance worker checked the rooftop tanks and found Elisa's body floating inside one of them. She was naked, and her belongings were still in her room downstairs. Her death was ruled an accidental drowning linked to mental health issues, but the elevator footage, the questions about roof access, and how she ended up inside that tank have turned this case into something that feels less like an accident and more like a real-life urban legend. A 15-year-old girl began receiving calls from her missing sister's phone. On the other end was a calm, emotionless man with a Long Island accent, describing what he had done and hinting that he might come for her next. Around the same time, bodies of women, many of them escorts, were being discovered along a remote stretch of highway near Gilgo Beach, wrapped in burlap and left in the brush. For years, the case stalled while families begged for answers. More than a decade later, a new task force reopened the investigation, tracking burner phones, analyzing cell tower data, and reviewing surveillance footage until it led them to a seemingly ordinary architect named Rex Heuermann, living a quiet life in the suburbs. Investigators recovered DNA from a discarded pizza crust he threw away, which matched evidence found on a victim, and uncovered a deleted document outlining a methodical plan for targeting and disposing of victims. In court, that same calm voice admitted to multiple murders, revealing a real-life suburban boogeyman hiding in plain sight. Students in Gainesville, Florida, started waking up to terrifying news that classmates had been murdered in their own apartments and dorm rooms. The killer, Danny Rolling, broke in at night, attacked victims in their sleep, mutilated some of the bodies, and posed them in disturbing ways. For days, the entire town lived in fear, with students sleeping in groups, parents pulling their kids out of school, and rumors spreading faster than facts while the killer always seemed one step ahead. Rolling was eventually captured and linked to multiple murders, and his crimes would go on to inspire the slasher film, Scream. It sounds like a classic horror setup, a killer stalking a college town, but this time it wasn't fiction, and the fear was real. On a cold evening in 2022, a FedEx truck pulled up to a rural home in Paradise, Texas, dropped off a package containing Barbie dolls, and drove away. Within about an hour, 7-year-old Athena Strand had vanished from her own yard. For 2 days, her family and hundreds of volunteers searched fields and back roads while her mother rushed from Oklahoma to Texas, praying she would find her daughter alive. When investigators reviewed the truck's onboard camera, they saw something chilling. The driver, 31-year-old Tanner Horner, interacting with Athena and placing her inside the van. He later led police to her body beneath a bridge and admitted that he strangled her. Athena's case went viral because it touched a deep fear. A child taken from her own home by someone wearing a uniform we're taught to trust. Her death led Texas to pass the Athena Alert, a law designed to speed up emergency alerts when a child is believed to be in immediate danger. Today, the case is still unfolding in court, with Horner pleading guilty to capital murder while his defense points to autism and mental health issues in an attempt to avoid the death penalty, and prosecutors arguing that the only time he has been truthful was when he admitted to killing Athena. Now, a jury will decide whether he spends the rest of his life behind bars or faces the ultimate punishment. But either way, Athena's story has already changed how people think about missing children and who we trust when they show up at our door. If this felt more like a horror movie than real life, Athena Strand shouldn't have ended this way. 7 years old, a box of dolls, and an entire life stolen in a matter of minutes. But Athena's death wasn't just a tragic accident. It was a monumental failure of a system that, yet again, chose corporate negligence over the safety of our children. How is it possible that a man with a history of violence was hired to enter our homes as a trusted employee? Corporations need to understand that background checks aren't just paperwork. They are a moral duty. And the American system? The Amber Alert could have been triggered hours earlier, perhaps saving her life, but critical time was lost to bureaucratic protocols. It wasn't just Tanner Horner who failed that day. It was an entire system that prioritized the speed of a package delivery over the life of a little girl. To those of you watching, please do not fall for the illusion that your neighborhood is untouchable. Do not leave your children alone, not even for a minute. Teach them, talk to them, and make them understand that not every uniform, not every delivery truck, and not every stranger is a source of safety. The world has changed, and our vigilance must be relentless. And above all else, tell your children today, right now, how much you love them, because tomorrow might be too late. Athena isn't just a name on a memorial or a line in a law. She was a whole universe. And for those who loved her, she is everything. She is everything. I want to hear from you. Which case disturbed you the most, and which one should I cover in a full deep dive here on Dark Files? If you're new here and you're into real investigations of real-life monsters, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss what's next. And don't stop here. I've put together a playlist called Monsters with full episodes on cases like these and others that go even deeper into the darkness. Click the playlist, let it play, and spend the rest of your night with stories that are worse than horror movies.